Hello everybody, how are you doing today? I have a little story to tell you. On May the 29th of 2021, I took a little trip over to Louisville and I met up with my dad, and many of you who've followed me for a long time know that I have a number of hobbies, and one of those hobbies happens to be metal detecting. My father enjoys the hobby as well, so we just got together, went to a local park, and just knocked around for a few hours. And I had a really good day. I ended up finding a class ring. Now I'm going to turn around and give you a much closer look at this ring. When I found this ring, I did not have a camera with me. This trip was not about recording metal detecting. It was more about just spending time with my father and enjoying his company. So we were just really out knocking around, didn't really expect to find much of anything. So I was really excited when this popped out of the ground. Now, the best part about finding this ring is the opportunity to get it back to its original owner. Couple of things: 2004, Trinity High School, so high school in Kentucky. And on the inside of the ring, I'm not going to give you the full name, but he has his full name engraved. So last night we got on the computer, my wife hopped on Facebook and searched for this person's name, Trinity High School 2004, and it popped up. We know exactly who this ring belongs to. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to clean the ring up. Notice the mud and dirt still packed in the facets of the ring. I'm going to clean those up, and I'll come back and show it to you cleaned up. And then I'm going to get on Facebook Messenger. I'm going to send this gentleman a message and find out if he would like to meet sometime in the near future and get this ring back in his hands. I just finished cleaning the ring, and as you can see, it looks much better than it did. There's a whole lot more detail in the ring. Look at that. It's really pretty. Let's see if we can get you there you go. There's a decent shot of the T inside the stone. Cleaned up really nice. All I did was take a soft bristled toothbrush and hold this under some running water. The ring, I do believe, is sterling silver. So it cleaned up really nicely. So I'm going to head in the house and I'm going to message this gentleman and see if I can ask him a couple of questions. I'd like to know if he remembers the day he lost it and can tell me possibly what he was doing that day that caused him to lose his ring, and perhaps where he was in the park, because things have been changed around in this park. It's a very old park over the years, and there's a possibility he lost it in one place and the dirt could have been moved to another point in the park. So I hope to get that story, and if I do, I will continue this video with that story. Hello everybody, how are you doing? I'm here today to tell you the story of the class ring. Now, 3 weeks and 1 day exactly from the day I dug it out of the dirt, I was able to get that ring back to where it belongs. And it's a touching story, and I'm going to tell the story. You might have noticed in the video that I kind of blurred out some things. I blurred out the last name of the person the ring belonged to. And I also, when I was about to say that last name, I said it in the video, I basically killed the audio there to where it goes blank and you don't hear it. And I did that out of respect to the person and their family. And you'll learn a little bit more about that as I tell the story. Right after I recorded the final video segment, the segment where I showed the ring post-cleaning, I went in the house and I had mentioned that my wife had found the person on Facebook, or found who we believe to be the right person on Facebook. So I went in, and I don't have Facebook on my phone anymore. I don't use it, but I did keep Facebook Messenger because I have a few friends who contact me that way, and it's just the way that we keep in touch. So I got on Facebook Messenger and I typed in the person's name, and their profile picture popped up, so I was able to compare it with my wife's Facebook account. So I knew I had the right person. And I sent a really nice little message explaining that I'd found a class ring, and if you lost a class ring, if you would just reply to me, describe the ring, maybe tell me where you lost it, I would understand that it was yours, because I didn't want to make a mistake. I wanted to make sure it got back to the rightful owner. And if they could just call me and kind of give me a little bit of background, I was sure we could straighten this out, and then I'd be happy to get the ring back in their hands. On Thursday, June the 26th, almost 3 weeks from the date I had found the ring, I was packing a suitcase because my plan was to, right after work Friday, drive over to Louisville. My dad's birthday was Saturday, and Father's Day, of course, was Sunday, the 29th. And I wanted to go down and spend the weekend with him, and we had some plans to do some things We're going to go metal detecting and a few other things that we like to do, and just kind of hang out and just hang out with each other. So it was a good weekend. I was looking forward to it. My wife and I were talking, and I had still not received a reply from this person. So that evening, she went online and she looked at their profile, and there was nothing. She said, well, you know what? Send me the message that you sent him originally, and I will go ahead and post it on his page. So I forwarded the message to her, and nothing else was really said about it until Friday night. Now, Friday night, I was actually in Louisville with my dad, and my wife, I called her to just check in, see what was going on, and she told me that she couldn't post on his page because the page was locked. His last post was in 2019. So we kind of figured, like me, maybe he just got tired of Facebook and just quit using it. So she got this idea, I'll go to his last post and see who posted on there. It's probably a friend of his. I'll try to contact them. So his last post happened to be a photograph, and I don't know what it was. I never saw it. She didn't mention it. But there was one person that commented on it. So she sent that person a message and said, hey, my husband believes he found this person's class ring. We'd like to get a hold of him. Here's my number. You can text me. And if he can describe the ring or tell us where he lost it, so we know we have the right person, my husband took the ring with him. He's actually in Louisville this weekend, and we could easily get that ring back to the person if you wouldn't mind contacting him. So she said, a little while later, half an hour or so, she got a message back from this person. So she was pretty excited. And the message simply said, I think you should talk to his mother. Here's her Facebook profile. So, okay, not a problem. I mean, this is great. We have a contact. We have this person's mother. So my wife went back on Facebook, went to this person's profile, and basically sent them the same message. We believe my husband found your son's class ring, and if he could just contact us, maybe describe the ring, tell us where he lost it. My husband went to Louisville this weekend. He took the ring with him, and he could meet up with your son and get that ring back to him. It wasn't 10 minutes later, she received an email, or a text message from this person, and the story started to unfold. The woman that was talking to her told my wife that yes, her son had lost his class ring in 2004. So basically, he received it, and shortly after receiving it, he lost the ring. She told us the park that he had lost it in. Okay, so the clues are adding up. These things weren't told to her. She was giving us the information. We felt really confident we had the right person. And then she told us that this meant a great deal to her because her son passed away in 2019, and she would love to have his class ring back. She has his urn with his ashes, and she would love to have his class ring as a sentimental, just a sentimental thing to keep with his urn and his ashes. So my wife was really, really excited to tell me this story, and she was forwarding me the text messages so I could see the conversation that had gone on. And she talked about how his father was a Trinity graduate, and his father was extremely proud that his son graduated from his alma mater. Unfortunately, her husband passed away in 2005, a year after her son graduated, from a heart attack. Her son, as I mentioned, passed away in 2019, unfortunately from cancer. And that is why I went ahead and erased the name when I spoke it in the video, and I went ahead and fuzzied out the name on the ring. I just think it's not right to publish that, and I wanted to kind of give the family their privacy. So at that point, my wife sends me the gentleman's mother, her phone number so that I can begin texting her. And I decided at this point, it was probably 10:30 at night. I did not want to start texting at 10:30 at night, so I told my wife I'll get her in the morning. Saturday morning, I sent a text and received a response back pretty readily. She was heading to work, going to be at work all day, got off work at 5. So a little closer to 5, I started texting again. I sent her she told me a few things in the text back and forth. I knew I had the right person. I knew this ring belonged to her son because she told me too many details about the ring and where he had lost it. So I was trying to arrange a meeting place, and she kept kind of hem-hawing around, which at first I thought was a little funny, but then it kind of hit me. You have some strange man who lives 150 miles away who's come into town and he's going to meet with you to give you back a ring. And, you know, I don't know that she felt like I was trying to dupe her or trick her, or I was being devious or anything, because I had sent photos of the ring. She knew I had it, but I think she might have just been a little uncomfortable with meeting with a strange man to get this ring back. So she kind of hem-hawed, and it ended up being, you know what, have a great time with your dad. Let's get together tomorrow. And I said, fine, that's not a problem. Give me a time, give me a place, and we'll be there. So we picked, honestly, it was a Goodwill store, the parking lot of a Goodwill store, right off of 265, the Gene Snyder Freeway, and Taylorsville Road in Louisville, Kentucky. She texted me as they were leaving, about a half an hour before we were supposed to meet. She said, we're leaving now. I'll be in a red Jeep Cherokee. I said, yep, we're leaving. We'll be in a gray Volkswagen SUV. So we're sitting there. We got there a little bit quicker than they did. I think we were probably a little closer. And I'm sitting in the parking lot. Red Grand Cherokee pulls in, and I step out of the car, and she gets out of the car, and she just grabs me and just gives me this hug. And I can feel her. She's shaking, right? I mean, she's just shaking. And she's crying. She's like, you don't know what this means to me. You don't know what this means to me. It was very touching. I mean, you could tell the emotion, right? So I had the ring in my hand. I had just had it on my finger. And when she held me for a few, probably 30 seconds. I mean, she was really just thanking me and so happy about meeting me, right? So when she backed up, I said, this is his ring. And her hands, I mean, she was shaking when she went to take it. She was just so, not nervous, not upset, but just, I guess the emotions were just overwhelming to her. This really, really meant something to her. And she took the ring and she's like holding it to her heart while she's talking to me, right? And she's telling me the story. And I asked her, I said, you know, do you know how he lost it? She goes, yes. He was getting ready to go out with some friends, and they were going to go to the park and hang out. And she goes, I encouraged him to wear his ring, and he didn't want to. But I told him, no, go, you need to wear it. You know, you bought this ring, wear it. So he wore the ring. They went out to the park. He came home that evening and told her, Mom, I've lost my ring. So he was upset. You know, they were upset. They went to the park the next day. They looked for the ring. Unfortunately, they were unable to find it. Now, where in the park he lost it, they were at several places, so they didn't know exactly where. Where I found it was at the bottom of a hill, and I'll tell you a little more about that in a minute. But what could have happened is it could have been lost anywhere on that hill. Dirt has been moved in this park several times as they've done construction and moved things around, so it could have been moved. That may not be the spot where he absolutely lost it. But she wanted to know where, so I explained to her George Rogers Clark Park is where I found it. And if you ever go there, there is, for lack of a better word, there's like a pavilion. It's a little house at the top of the hill, and there's a patio out back, and then some swings and stuff over on the side. And you go down the hill, and there's a tiny little bridge right there that takes you across to a steeper hill that kids like to sled down. We've done it when we were kids. We used to sled down that hill. But as you get to the bottom of the hill, right before you go across the bridge, on the left side of the bridge, there was a mound of dirt, maybe about 16, 18 inches high. I don't know if somebody pushed it up there at some point, or if the tractor's mowing the grass, every time they go around that curve, the wheels just sort of push the dirt up. But I was scanning that mound of dirt, and I hit this strange signal. And I called my dad over to see what you think about this. And he shot it a couple times and goes, I don't know, it doesn't look all that great. Maybe it's a can or something. So he walked off, and I scanned it a couple more times. Thought, you know what, I'm going to dig it. So basically, I stuck my shovel in about 3 inches down. I flipped the dirt over, and the ring popped out. And I grabbed it, and I was like, Dad, you're not going to believe what I just found. So this, and he comes over, and I open my hand, and I've got this class ring, and he jumped too. He's like, oh, wow. Because, that's a great find, right? And the cool thing about it is, when you find something like that, is they're doing the research and trying to get it back to the owner. Now, his full name, first name, last name, middle initial, was inside of that ring. I knew the school he went to, the year he graduated, so the chances of me getting that ring back to him were very, very good, very high. I just want to stop for a second and say, if you have a piece of jewelry, a nice ring or something, take it to your jeweler and get your name put inside, because if someone like me happens to run across it, you might say, well, that was sterling silver. You could have turned that ring in and got money for it. Well, yeah, I could have. But you know what? What's more important is it's the thrill of finding it and then getting it back where it belongs. And so I told her my story. She told me hers. We talked for a while. She gave me another hug, and then she's like, what do I owe you? Can I give you something? And I was like, no. Your reaction and the fact that I know this ring is where it ultimately belongs is the payment. That's the only payment I need. At some point in the future, you'll have a chance to pay it forward. You can do that. And her husband came up. He gave me a hug. She had remarried, and he was so happy because he saw what this did for his wife. He saw how it affected her and how happy it made her, and just how she swelled up with pride. And it was funny because she had the ring on her finger then at one point. She had it put it on her finger, and she had it against her heart. And she's saying, I could wear this. She goes, no, I don't want to take a chance at losing it again. I'm going to put it with his memorabilia. So she was really, that was a great moment. And it touched my wife's heart too. Being a mother, my wife really could sympathize with her. If you lose a child, how hard that is, and how much something like this means, because it basically brought him back to her, if only for a moment, and in a wonderful way. So this was a long story, but it was a great story, and I felt like it needed to be told. And if you stuck with me, thank you. I hope you enjoyed it. And if this ever happens to me again, where I find something like this and I have the opportunity to research it and get it back to the owner, I'll be happy to do that. And you never know, maybe one of these days it could be something of yours that I find. So thank you for listening. I really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the story. Have a great evening, and I will talk to you again very, very soon.